I just hope I can find another job before the money runs out. With those thoughts, I could only see the ground beneath my feet. Then, in my downward gaze, I spotted a black tire coming to a stop. Why would a car stop here? Curious, I looked up. It was a black luxury car. It's in the way. Naturally, I thought it must be some big shot coming to the factory. Then, the driver with gloved hands came out of the driver's seat and respectfully opened the rear door. A man in an expensive suit and a girl came out. The man asked the girl, "Is this the guy?" The girl nodded in confirmation. Seeing that nod, I exclaimed, "Oh, you're the girl from that time. So, you did meet your dad, right? That's great. I'm really glad you were able to meet him safely." Forgetting my recent sorrows, I spoke to her. She smiled brightly and hugged me. "Thanks to you, my daughter could safely come to me." "You are welcome." I was worried about her, but had no way to contact you after that. "By the way, you're leaving the company so early? Got somewhere to be?" "Oh, yeah, something like that." I forced a dry laugh. There was no way I could tell someone I just met that I had just been fired, especially not to someone who's probably a company president. I recognized so due to riding in such a fancy car and dressed so well. I shouldn't even be speaking to someone like him. "If you're not in a hurry, I'd like to show my gratitude. It's almost lunchtime. How about a meal?" "No, thank you. That's too much. I couldn't possibly accept your gratitude for something I should naturally do." "Come on, don't be like that. Of course, if you have other plans, I won't insist. But if you're free, could you join me? I wouldn't feel right letting you go without properly thanking you. After all, you saved my daughter, and a simple thanks just doesn't cut it." I initially refused because there was really nowhere a recently fired guy like me had to be. However, in such a downtrodden state, looking for another job wasn't likely to go well. Thinking that, I said, "If you insist, then I'll accept your kind offer." I got into the car and was taken to a high-end restaurant. "Excuse me, I'm dressed like this." I was wearing work clothes, not exactly the attire for a high-end restaurant. I had thought we'd be going to something like a diner at most, so I was surprised. But the man laughed heartily and said, "Don't worry about it. Clothes don't eat the meal." He then pushed me forward. He must be a regular, as the hostess didn't make a fuss and even smiled me. The atmosphere in that private room was extremely luxurious and extraordinary. I wasn't comfortable being in such a prestigious place. Yet, as the drinks started flowing, things began to feel different. The smile of the girl and the conversation between father and daughter, just that was enough to warm my heart, not to mention the fine drinks and luxurious food. At what I thought could be the first and last feast of my life, I was thoroughly enjoying every bite. After a while, the man revealed his identity. "I should have introduced myself at the beginning, but that's just who I am," he said, handing me a business card that read, "Boss of Greenwood Family." "Oh my God, Mafia? Oh, excuse me." "No problem, you're right. But you know, a Mafia is also a parent. Thanks to you, I could reunite with my daughter. I'm grateful." "Oh yes, my pleasure. By the way, may I ask? I've been wondering why she was there that day." "That's because actually her mother and I divorced years ago. She remarried not long after. Her new husband seemed to be the vice president of a small factory. But after she passed away, his new wife moved in. At the same time, the president of the factory, who had been kind to my daughter, also passed away. Then, the vice president succeeded to the president's post. But from then on, my daughter was treated like a nuisance." "Could it be why her legs were bruised?" "Yeah, that's right. She was hurt where it wouldn't show. Especially her back, it was terrible. I can't imagine how much it hurt. Her mother gave her an amulet before she died. Told her if she ever went to the other side, to open it and get the help." "That was the note." "Yeah, not writing down a phone number was a bit of an oversight. She was desperately trying to find me. But as much as she's a high school student, it was quite a distance to walk. By the time you found her, her wallet was empty. She might have ended up frozen to death if it continued like that. That was the situation. I thought there must be some circumstances. As for her mother's new husband, I just can't forgive him. He made her go through so much. I swore to get revenge. Oh, it doesn't sound good for a mafia to say such things, does it? I understand how you feel. Thanks. What about you? Leaving work at such an hour, something must have happened, right? It's odd saying this to someone I just met, especially a boss, but I was actually fired just now. Fired? Why? That's because I was wrongfully accused of having connections with antisocial forces. I have no idea how it came to that. Just this morning, out of the blue, I was told that and then fired. Huh? Wait a minute. Hey, the boss called over an executive standing by. After a whispered exchange, he exclaimed, "Idiots!" And he turned to me. I'm terribly sorry. That was my fellow's fault. What do you mean? I wanted to thank you so much that I had my guys check up on you. They found out where you worked, but wanted to make sure you were really there. Seems like they mentioned our organization's name over the phone. That's probably what got back to you. So that's why they said I was involved with antisocial forces. It was a complete frame up. I'm really sorry. Let me make this right. I'll talk to the manager tomorrow, explain the misunderstanding, and everything should work out. No, I'm okay. You didn't look okay earlier. You must be in trouble, right? Yes, it would be a lie to say I'm not troubled. But going back to work under such a manager would just be the same old story. I don't want to work under someone who doesn't trust his employees. I see. So you got something else lined up? Honestly, if I don't find something by the end of the month, I'll be in a bad spot. But still, I'm thinking of standing firm as a man. Good for you. In that case, how about I introduce you to a company run by an acquaintance of mine? They're not involved with the mafia or anything. I think my friend would like you. No, that's okay. I wish I could cling to the offer. I want to jump at this opportunity, that's the truth. But should I really do that? After all, the other party is involved with the mafia. Even if they say they're not involved with the mafia, can I believe that 100%? Is that so? Well, if you ever find yourself in a bind, call the number on my card. I'm always here to help. The boss said that with a laugh. About a month later, I ended up needing his help. No matter how many interviews I went to, I couldn't land a job. Thus, I was thinking, I'd have to settle for part-time work. I'm in the mood for a drink, but I've got no one to drink with. Would you mind keeping me company? Don't worry about the money. I'm asking for your company, after all. The boss made sure to put himself lower to not burden me, inviting me in such a way. Even though he was a member of the mafia, I was surprised to find such a person existed and decided to accept if it was a bar. You really don't want much, right? I'm offering to treat you, and here you are picking a bar over a fancy restaurant. Well, I've never been to a fancy restaurant. It makes me restless. Honestly, I feel more at ease in a casual bar. I see. Guess I wasn't very considerate. No, not at all, I said, holding a beer mug. So, did you find a job? Actually, not yet. Being a high school graduate, it seems quite difficult. I've applied to quite a few companies, but no luck. That's fortunate. Sorry? Yeah, I was thinking, would you mind lending me a hand? For a moment, it felt like my heart skipped a beat. Being asked by the mafia to lend a hand, I couldn't help but think of nothing good. He continued speaking. Man, how can I refuse after hearing his suggestion? It seemed he understood my reluctance, as his proposal was far from what I had imagined. Even though I'm with the mafia, it doesn't mean we only do bad things. I just want to serve justice to the man who tormented my daughter. Justice. Yes, over the past month, I've been investigating who exactly did such horrible things to my daughter. It turned out to be the manager of the company you worked for. He acts as the manager of that factory. The previous manager used to wear work clothes and get involved on the floor. But this guy wears expensive suits and never shows his face in the factory. He lives in a luxury residential area over 1 hour away by car. So that's why he always arrived late. Exactly. A classic case of executive timing. My daughter was practically his maid, and it seems she wasn't even fed properly, crying while eating a single bagel. Really, that bad? Yes, it's true. How dare he do that to my daughter? He muttered with frustration and finished his beer. That's why I absolutely want to revenge my daughter. But when you talk about revenge, of course, I'm not planning anything bad. I don't want to end up in jail and miss out on my time with my daughter for a scumbag like him. So, we're going to do it legally. Legally? What I really want to do is take over that company and kick the manager out. I've got all the dirt on him. He's got a considerable amount of personal debt, mostly from gambling and such. And now he's using the company's profits to cover his debts. Is he? Yes. That's why the employees' wages are so low. They dropped significantly after the previous manager passed away. That's true. Our salaries did drop sharply after the previous manager died. That's the scheme. You all were working for his benefit, so I want to kick him out of the company and make it a place where the employees can earn the wages they deserve. What will happen to that manager if he's kicked out? Well, I guess he'll end up in a debt hell. Plus, his wife seems to have married him only for his money. If she finds out he's no longer the president, she'll probably leave him. And socially, I'll make sure no company will hire him. You can do that. Hey, I'm the boss of the Greenwood, okay? Stuff like that is easy for me.